Okay, continuing my little series of dealing with this one particular lady with a video on spellcasting.
If you have these skills in place, you can then branch out into more advanced styles of practice.
She's talking about the foundational skills of the meditation, the mindfulness and all that kind of stuff initially. But then she then goes on about this.
Without the fear holding you back. Because ultimately, going back to that pyramid I spoke about at the very, very start of this video, a lot of the people at the very bottom of that pyramid will fall away because the practice simply isn't for them. Some more people will fall away because they don't want to put the time and energy into it. But a lot of people fall away from that practice because they don't have the self-confidence, because they don't feel as though they have the skills to be able to get themselves out of a bad...
Okay, so how does one build the self-confidence and how does one get the skills to reliably get yourself out of this terrible situation which you think you've got yourself into? And how would you define the terrible situations you can get yourself into? Because I haven't seen that many of them when it comes to my own little workings.
situation, and so they're so scared of working with spirits. They're so scared of carrying out spells and rituals that they simply don't. And I don't want anyone to feel like they're in that situation. So ideally, it is about asking the whys.
Well, one why I'd like to ask you is why you haven't gone into sufficient detail about what could possibly go wrong. You've now added this wonderful end to your video whereby things could go wrong, things could go terribly wrong. You might have to find an actual adult somewhere who can help set it right for you. Oh my god. But what are you talking about? Now you're telling me that you don't want people to be afraid, but you're also talking about the invocation of ancient deities, and it's all rather confusing, really.
Understanding why you're doing the things that you're doing, avoiding misinformation, and then coming to a point in...
How can you avoid misinformation when the vast majority of the occult, magical and pagan world is based upon misinformation?
Your practice, where if a spell goes wrong, you know what to do to fix it. So I hope that this was useful. If you have any other tips for advancing your practice from being a beginner to someone more advanced, do let us all know down in the comment section. I certainly would absolutely love to know so that I can give better advice to people in the future, because that's the beauty of witchcraft. That's the beauty of everything, actually, I think, is that ultimately no one knows everything. And if someone claims...
That is an important point. No one knows absolutely everything. Alright? And that's why we can't really go around providing hard and fast facts about all this stuff. All we can do is point to the direction and the direction of travel. I want there to be some proper understanding of what goes on with the energy field. I want there to be some proper understanding as to what goes on with spiritual healing. I want this to be, codified and written down somewhere in some variety of formalized, serious way. But unfortunately, we're not. We're just sticking with the kind of woody language that this lady's coming out with.
They're lying, because there's absolutely no way that any of us can know everything in witchcraft or in life. It just doesn't happen. We're all growing, we're all learning. Make sure that you forgive yourself if things go wrong. Nobody is perfect. Nobody's journey is the same speed as everyone else's. Some people develop their craft really quickly, other people take decades. That doesn't mean that one person is better than the other. And I think these are all really important takeaways, because there is, especially online, such a status within witchcraft of I'm better than you are. And the reality is...
Yeah, but they're like that because they're bullies. Alright? They are bullies and they are thugs. And they want to lord over people using a load of religious bollocks as a means of doing so, because it's easy. Alright? It's easy to spend time lying to people about how much magical power you've got, as opposed to actually getting good at something in real life. And a lot of the things which is mentioned in magic and witchcraft and the psychic world is something which is too open to interpretation, and also has an awful lot of general exaggerations and misinterpretations associated with it. So we got a very, very complicated thing to deal with, and it's not that simple.
Is that you can find someone who's been practicing for 6 months, who is more experienced, more practiced and more knowledgeable than someone who's been practicing for 50 years.
Either that, or the person who's been practicing for 50 years is inarticulate and stupid, and the person who's been practicing for 6 months has got some articulation about them but knows a damn sight less. So you'd be better off talking to the inarticulate 50-year-old and having the right kind of attitude to what they say, as opposed to speaking to the person who's only been playing around for 6 months.
Everyone is so unique. No one is better than everyone else. We are all just going on this journey.
That's right. You can see these things as being a journey of personal growth and spirituality and dealing with this, that and the other, but we can't use language wrong. And I'm sorry, but Pathwitch, I like your video, but you do use language rather wrong here. And I think you're leaving too many things open for misinterpretation, and that's not necessarily a good thing. Now, I want to encourage you to carry on making your videos. I want to encourage you to carry on doing what you're doing, because at least there's another argument in the whole debate. But I also want you to have a look at the way in which you've explained things and what you're talking about, and to think these things through so that people can develop a more well-rounded, deeper understanding of what's really real when it comes to the subjects of magic and witchcraft. Because we're not in a world right now whereby people do understand anything. And there's lots of hazy stuff which just goes out there which is not well articulated or experimented with properly. So, yeah, I guess I've still got my issues, but, carry on building a deeper nuance about what it is you're talking about. Because otherwise it could be harmful to someone.